sport of greyhound racing has for years been tarnished by allegations of systemic doping and corruption. More than a decade ago, an inquiry in New South Wales exposed rampant drug use, fraudulent testing and bribery. There was supposed to have been a clean-up, but claims of endemic problems have persisted. Now, an investigation by 7:30 into this multi-billion-dollar industry has revealed it's far from clean. Drugs ranging from cocaine to Viagra are used to get a winning edge. One insider tells us that up to 80% of trainers dope their dogs. The relentless quest to produce a winner has also led to massive overbreeding, cruelty to animals, and thousands of dogs killed each year. This report from Rubinsztein-Dunlop, produced by Leslie Robinson.
They call it the fastest sport on 4 legs. 8 greyhounds chase a mechanical lure in a 30-second sprint. $45,000 in prize money is up for grabs at this meeting at Sydney's Wentworth Park. And nearly $2 million will be gambled on the outcome. Across Australia, punters plough almost $3 billion into greyhound betting each year. But is it a fair bet?
The whole industry needs a makeover in New South Wales, I'll tell you.
Tonight, 7:30 tells the story of an industry plagued by doping. More than 70 dogs have tested positive to banned substances in the past year. Half of those were in New South Wales, but insiders say many more cheats go undetected.
Well, I'll tell you now, 80% of greyhound trainers are looking for something to dope their dogs. Simple as that.
Christos Arletos has been in the game for 25 years. Is it a level playing field in Australia?
No, never was and never will be. That's my theory.
Why?
Because you can't. You can go and catch 10 more will pop up. Well, I can't compete with high quality of drugs where they use them. You can't compete with that, my friend.
Mark Azzopardi is one of the sport's rising stars. 5 months ago, the trainer was at the top of his game, basking in the success of his flying machines. Transcend Time was one of his best performers. He blitzed the field at a meeting in Maitland in late March.
Transcend Time in front and Transcend Time beat Slater Hill.
A drug test found Transcend Time had cocaine in his system when he won.
Something like this is just devastating. It's unbelievable.
Greyhound Racing New South Wales disqualified Azzopardi for 2 years. To this day, the trainer insists he didn't dope his dog.
I searched high and low trying to find the answer, and then luckily enough the guy that was giving me a hand come forward and said well, he'd been using cocaine as a recreational, recreational thing off and on, and it could have been from him. It was the only thing we could find, because I sure as hell have never or don't dope my greyhounds, and my record speaks for itself.
Can you go back, right?
Cocaine is very popular, and that's more difficult to detect. The most common way to be administered is just before the animal starts to race, either be administered by a sneaky injection or by wiping the powder on the animal's mucous membrane or gums. The improvement is quite remarkable. These drugs are stimulatory, and it'll make a greyhound do its utmost to win.
It's not just cocaine. In recent months, dogs have tested positive to amphetamines, caffeine, anabolic steroids, even Viagra. A particular favourite is EPO, the performance-enhancing hormone used by disgraced cyclist Lance Armstrong.
I've had people that are not my clients come in and try and buy EPO from the clinic. We don't even stock it. but they're obviously out there hunting for it so they can use it for their animals because it's harder to find on the swab.
Do you think that the system to stamp out doping is adequate?
No, I don't think the security is there that it needs to be there.
Greyhounds Racing Victoria has just claimed its biggest scalp. Yesterday it disqualified top trainer Graham Bate, 2 months after he openly admitted to using testosterone.
In my kennel, I think I've probably got at least 70 bitches, and to try and get them to stay off season, especially with the warm weather approaching. For 40 years, I've used a quarter of a mil of testosterone once every 3 weeks.
Mr. Bate had a positive result. A new rule was implemented on the 1st of January 2013, where any sample taken that had a testosterone level above 10 nanograms per 100 mil was a positive sample, and Mr. Bates, as I understand, returned in excess of 20 nanograms.
Thanks, mate. Bye.
2 years ago, Greyhound Racing New South Wales set up a control centre to keep watch on every major track in the state. Officials scrutinise race and surveillance footage, analyse betting trends and monitor drug swabbing.
Plenty of times. Plenty.
All winners are tested.
Every winner should be swapped every time. Concentrate this. Come on. Come on.
But still, only a fraction of the competitors are swabbed.
Yep, we'll do it.
141946 on there. 141946 there. You sure look? Happy with that?
I'm happy with that, mate. There's nothing in it.
In 2000, a corruption inquiry into the sport attracted huge crowds in Sydney. It exposed evidence that the state's then Chief Steward, Rodney Potter, had switched dog urine samples in exchange for tens of thousands of dollars in bribes.
And replaced it with a drug-free sample. Potter also manipulated the system for choosing the dogs to be swabbed. He did this for a fee and had got away with it since 1990.
Rodney Potter was sent to jail and several trainers were banned for life.
It's been historic, I think. It's not much has changed.
Ted Humphries was the whistleblower who sparked the inquiry. He sat on the New South Wales Greyhounds Veterinary Advisory Committee until 2 years ago. During one meeting, he says a lab analyst openly offered to falsify test results.
When an analyst makes a statement, you tell us which swabs you want made negative, and we're happy to make them negative. I think is a fair indictment of the system.
He says New South Wales Greyhounds officials are too close to the trainers they're supposed to police.
Many of them are known to be heavy gamblers, and the stewards themselves have no formal qualifications, and many of them have few qualifications at all.
I was obstructed almost from the start with Greyhound Racing. They simply did not want oversight.
Former Chief Magistrate and Ombudsman David Lander was the sports integrity auditor in New South Wales, but he quit in disgust in April last year, explaining his decision to Four Corners. These comments were not broadcast.
It was a fiction, and it was a fraud, really, on the public.
A fraud on the public?
Yes, because they were led to believe that there was an integrity auditor capable of dealing with issues that ought to be dealt with, matters of integrity, matters of honesty, matters of fair dealing, and those powers were not able to be performed.
The industry is also under pressure over animal welfare concerns, both on and off the track, where injuries are common.
One's down at the first turn.
Apparently he broke his hock, unfortunately, which is heartbreaking for the owner.
Thousands more never even make it this far because they're simply not cut out for racing.
We know that thousands of greyhounds are born every year that are surplus to industry requirements. In fact, we know that about 40% of the greyhounds born every year in Australia will never actually go on to race. That's a very high wastage rate, and it's an unacceptable wastage rate. And the RSPCA thinks that urgent action must be taken to reduce this massive overbreeding problem.
What have we got here? Greyhound authorities have set up adoption programs, but they only meet a fraction of the need. So it's left to volunteers like Janet and Peter Flan to do what they can to save greyhounds from death row.
This way. We had a call from a girl saying she was delivering a litter of pups, and would I take them? And because she's been asked to drown them in the bucket next to her.
The hope is these dogs will be adopted as pets.
They're so beautiful, so gentle and affectionate, and there's such a need for them to be helped.
The animal welfare lobby says around 17,000 greyhounds are killed in Australia each year.
Where they bludgeon them to death, that's quite common. But shooting is quite common. If they get to the vets to be euthanized, they're, properly, they're lucky, really.
Greyhounds New South Wales estimates 3,000 are euthanised each year in that state alone.
We would take that as the minimum. It is possible that that is an underestimate, and the problem is that there's a real lack of national published data, so we don't have exact euthanasia figures to draw from, and that's another problem with the industry, this lack of transparency. But we do have enough evidence to know that the euthanasia problems are very serious. The high euthanasia rates are unacceptable, and urgent action needs to be taken to reduce them.
This is the image the industry prefers to project.
Today, one organisation will leave the meadows $5,000 richer.
But after years of scandal and ongoing evidence of entrenched drug use, many believe it's now time for a major overhaul of the industry. There's bound to be resistance because there's so much at stake.
Trust me, there's money involved. When there's money involved, a lot of things will happen. It's like you're playing with honey, you're not going to wash your hands, you're going to lick your fingers.
Sean Rubinsztein-Dunlop with that report produced by Leslie Robinson. Greyhound Racing New South Wales declined our request for an interview but gave us a statement which you'll find on our website. And you can join a discussion on the issues raised in that story on our Facebook page, facebook.com/ABC730.